this month's video, I'm just going to talk about two products that I use. One is granulation fluid and the other is an acrylic ink. And I use these in conjunction with my watercolour to create textures really. I just want to demonstrate how I actually do that. So I'm just going to wet a patch on a piece of watercolour paper. And I've mixed up 3 random greens and I'm going to apply those, and then I'm going to show you how I use the granulation fluid to create a texture and different patterns. So just wet an area and I'm just plonking on just a few different shades of green that I've mixed up. And then I'm just going to tip them, let them run together a little bit. And then this is the granulation fluid. And these are the inks that I use. And I tend to use sepia more than any other. And I use it just with the dropper. I don't use a brush. But there are other colours as well. But they do react differently, and I will prove that and I will demonstrate that to you in a little bit. So I'll just roll my sleeves up. And into this wet wash, I'm going to use some sepia ink. I'm just going to drop that in with the dropper and let it run into the wet watercolour. Now do remember that this acrylic ink is permanent, so you need to put it where you want it. And then I'm just going to put my paper on an angle and then dribble the granulation fluid through the colour. So can you see what's happening? It creates these little speckles, and you can see how that would be great for tree roots or even bark. So just to prove the point that different colours react differently, I'm going to do exactly the same here on the left, and then I'm going to use the green ink. So just get a bit of a patch, nice and wet, and then put a few bits of watercolour on again. Like that. Now, just let them run. But just watch what this green ink does. Can you see how it pushes the watercolour out of the way? Now whether I've just got a bad batch, but actually there's a few of my other colours do this as well. This doesn't mean that you can't use it, it just means it takes a little bit of time to rectify it, put your watercolours back in, etc. So it is worthwhile practicing, getting a sheet and seeing what all the different inks will do, because they don't react the same. Now with the granulation fluid, I'm going just to dribble that through. Now it does work, I know it does, but it doesn't work anywhere near as well. It doesn't have the same impact. You might not even be able to see very well here until it's dried on this video. But you will probably just be able to see a few little speckles in the centre. Can you see they're just beginning to show there? I'm just going to run this around a wee bit. But such a difference to the sepia. So sepia is the one that I use mainly. Another way of using these inks is to actually draw with them for foliage, grasses, roots, trees, and just don't bother with a brush, just go directly in and just think about the informality of nature. There are no straight lines as such. And then you can add some more granulation fluid into that colour and into those lines, just subtly. And once again, you probably won't see the effect until it's dried, and you could just soften a few of those lines and let them run around a bit. So it's a lot of playing about until you get something that you're happy with. I thought I might add a little bit more brown in here and just a few more longer grasses. Let the green and the brown mix together. You can mix the inks. You can mix them beforehand or you can mix them on your paper. And then put a bit more granulation fluid in there and then keep tipping the colours together. You do get some beautiful effects if you let watercolour just do their thing. See how that would create roots? I might just add a bit of water actually over some of these just to create slightly longer grasses. Lots of happy accidents begin. So if you watch when I just put water in here, how it actually pushes the paint out of the way and you get white lines. Watercolour is beautiful. I've actually got rid of that now, but lots of lovely happy accidents begin to occur. Add a little bit more of the dark ink in the middle. And then another thing that I use sometimes is a straw, because that can blow the ink and the paint in a more informal way. Just look how it runs beautifully there. You've not a lot of control, but that's what's so great in nature. There's nothing too formal, too formalised in nature, so a straw is a good tool to create grasses or twigs or roots or branches. So you can see these dried now, and you can see that they've both worked, and I'd like to just show you how they look in action. So we'll just have a look at some of my paintings.